Cyberbullying. I wanted to find out if cyberbullying was still an issue to this day. I did my research and I found out that it grows around 1% per year. However, during the pandemic, it rose 20% in gaming sites, apps, things like that because of hate speech, and it's still very much an issue. I went to the safeguarding team at college and they told me that no one had come to them regarding the cyberbullying issue. And this isn't shocking to me because during my research I found out that only 1 in 10 victims actually turn to someone for advice, being a trusted guardian, a parent, a friend, something like that. So this meant that the people I had available to interview was limited. Not only did I want to interview people who had been victims of cyberbullying, but I also wanted to get people's opinion on cyberbullying and whether they thought it was still an issue or not. What you're about to see is a mixture of responses and opinions from different people who have experienced cyberbullying or who have helped others who have gone through cyberbullying. You will also see the opinions of other students who might not have experienced cyberbullying to an extent, but who still agree that it's still a major issue to this day. Do you know what cyberbullying is?
I believe I do. For me, cyberbullying is when people, for whatever reason, target individuals or potentially groups of individuals through online means, whether that's through social media, emails, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not good. It's really bad. It's happened to me before.
Who thinks cyberbullying is still an issue to this day?
Yes.
To be honest, yeah, because there's a lot of people that get cyberbullied, especially young kids. Because I'm 17 going on 18, and then young kids get cyberbullied, they don't exactly know what to do. So yeah, it's big.
Yes, I do. I think it's more prevalent today than perhaps ever before. I don't know if that's true, but I do know that people feel targeted, harassed. I know that people are blocking people on their phones because they feel that they're getting bullied, and that it's having a detrimental effect on them.
Personally, I believe it's still a major issue to this day, especially because most, if not everyone, has access to the internet, and we're always in front of a device, be it a tablet, a computer, and a mobile phone, which most of us carry around 24/7. So most people are exposing themselves to cyberbullying, and this cyberbullying can come from anyone, anywhere in the world.
Other side of the world, they could be in Australia, they could be in Russia or something. They could be.
Is it something you see a lot as a member of staff?
I don't necessarily see it a lot, but the students have confided in me about how they were getting harassed in their lessons, to the point where they'd turn off their phone, or they'd again go and see somebody in the college that could help them with it.
Has anyone here been a victim?
I've had minimal, yeah.
I don't think so. Definitely not from individuals. I don't think I've experienced that myself. However, and I'm from the age where we weren't born into technology, so it came much later. And I guess I don't really use a lot of social media and things like that. So there's not many channels from which perhaps people can get to me that way. But I have been harassed by companies.
I've been cyberbullied myself, and I've had a lot of problems in the past. And because I've got depression and that kind of stuff, then it just makes it a whole lot worse.
Who here thinks that cyberbullying has a direct effect on suicidal thoughts?
Definitely.
Yes. Definitely.
Because it's bullying.
There are so many kids out there that it's horrible, but hang themselves because they've been cyberbullied or physically bullied. It doesn't matter if it's physical bullying or cyberbullying. It's still bullying at the end of the day.
And what sort of consequences can cyberbullying have on someone?
If it's really bad, and depending on if they've got any sort of problems, then they can end up to them hurting themselves or doing something kind of stupid. Or trust me, I've come close to doing it, but I've never done anything like that before.
I would imagine that in the worst cases, people might feel lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem, and may even lead to suicidal thoughts, or potentially people thinking they will commit suicide as a result of bad cyberbullying.
Yeah, one of the facts is actually that
It's 11 times more likely for someone to have suicidal thoughts if they've been cyberbullied.
That's higher than I thought.
These comments that people post, they could think it's a joke, but to the person who's reading them, it could really have a huge negative impact on them. And people are aware of it. Why do you think cyberbullies do what they do?
They do it for attention. So let's say an actress gets into a role, or an actor, and they're like black, trans, gay or lesbian, they will get cyberbullied online by people who hate them because of their own beliefs, which is wrong. You shouldn't hate someone for like being either gay, different race, or something like that.
Do it for attention, do it because they're scared maybe, I don't know. Never been on that side of it really.
Would you like to say anything to those that are cyberbullies and bully people online?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, they need help. They need to build their own resilience. I think they need to question why they are reflecting potentially their own issues onto other people to make them feel comfortable, and start to focus in on their own lives rather than trying to destroy others. Try and rebuild their own lives and start to think, about how it would feel if it was being done to them as well, and to just stop doing it really and try and be more positive and actually make a contribution rather than taking from people and making it negative.
What's going on in their life? Are they getting bullied in their house as well, and they're maybe frustrating that rage onto someone or something? It's not right. It's definitely not right at all. But you've got to understand why they do it, because they don't do it without a reason. They probably do it because to feel better, if that makes sense.
If you're cyberbullied, don't. You've probably got no reason to. It's stupid and you just really shouldn't do it. Just stop immediately.
What do you think is the reason they do it?
Probably because something bad's happened to them in the past and they think it's okay to learn from them what happened to them in the past and just bring it on to the future because that's something that they've got in their head. And it's things like that that they sort of try and get out of their head and come to the sort of real world and think, well, what I'm doing is wrong.
You said you experienced cyberbullying.
Yes.
Did you turn to anyone?
I think when at the time, yeah, because I tried to sort out myself, but I knew what was going on, so I thought, you know what, I'm getting sick of this, and then I had to ask my mum or my sister, and she dealt with it and just got rid of it, and then apart from that, I've been fine ever since.
Have you ever had to help someone that's been cyberbullied?
I've helped someone out before, and I really just did a simple solution. It was to block them. Don't feed the troll. Don't feed them. Just don't feed them at all. Don't give them responses, angry responses. Don't give them any response. Just block them.
Did this person turn to you for help, or did you find out?
They turned to me for help. Yeah.
That's interesting because apparently only 1 in 10 people turn to someone for help.
Maybe because they hide it, yes, I understand that. Or maybe they solve the problem themselves. Or perhaps they just don't want to talk to anyone because that will bother them. But either way, you should talk to someone if you're getting cyberbullied.
Do you have any advice for people who have experienced cyberbullying?
Yeah, if you get like cyberbullied, don't ignore any sort of links or you get or random numbers you get on your phone, or if you get called, or if you get try and get these scams, ignore them. It's not worth it. If you know who it is, if you're friends, obviously yes. But if you don't know them, then don't. It's not worth it.
Well, I would say the most simple solution is just to block them, ignore them.
My advice would be to recognise that is a form of bullying. So when you start to feel uncomfortable, if anything doesn't feel right and you're reading something, is to try and confide in somebody that you trust. So, if that's a tutor or a member of staff or maybe a family member that's in a position where they can support you and signpost you to help, that would be good, because things like that can be tracked and traced, and the people that are doing it, I'm sure, can be blocked, or they can follow it up or something like that, so that you remain safe and realise that it's probably not so much you, the issue is probably with the person doing the cyberbullying in the first place.
can each of you give me a reason that you think is why people get cyberbullied?
Well, the same way as anyone gets bullied. Their looks, their nationality, their interests, and all that.
Their vulnerability as well.
Because they're different.
Think about it. Think of the amount of people that have been called names that have forgotten. When was the last comment that you posted on YouTube? Doesn't matter if it's a positive comment or a negative comment, doesn't matter. Do you actually remember it? That's how horrible cyberbullying can be. You forget about it. You forget what you've just called somebody. Doesn't matter if you call someone a horrible name or a horrible thing that you've just said or anything like that. Cyberbullying can be easily forgotten for the person that's the abuser, basically.
But the victim will always remember that.
Yes.
It's always going to stick with them.
What app do you think is where the most cyberbullying happens?
All of them.
I think the most that happens is probably either Instagram or Snapchat, because you can just easily talk to someone and say, hey, you're a cat of shit, or I don't like something related to them.
Many people that have experienced cyberbullying say that images or comments about their personal information was spread by someone that they once considered a close friend. Has anyone you consider a friend ever turned their back on you and said something rude?
Yes, absolutely.
Everyone's had that. Different extent, but...
Different reasons. I guess it's happened to me, yeah.
I've had a friend 4 years ago. Used to be close friends, but he turned against me, and I found it incredibly insulting and offended, and I never spoke to him again. So
I've had that at school, but then I kind of forgive them.
Would you be more likely to stand up for someone in real person or online?
both.
Which one would you be more comfortable doing?
Physical, because standing up in front of them and taking their defense is equally more hard and challenging online, in my opinion, because that can be monitored and that can be seen and that won't go anywhere. That once you throw the dart on the wall, that stays on the wall. Whereas physical, you can look back on things, but you will never have to read it again or see it again or even mention it again. So it can be, I find physical easier, but either way.
I would say probably the internet. I feel like that's more confident, unless if you have like a blank profile picture or something unrelated, like a background image, like of the countryside. Yeah, that'll be fine. But in real life, I think I can do it. But when I meet if I meet the bully, I'd probably be like backing down because they probably bully me too.
Here, Dennis is saying that he would be more likely to intervene and not be a bystander if his profile picture was anonymous, like a sunset, a background picture, something like that, which is interesting because one of the facts is actually that 4 out of 5 students say they would be more likely to intervene in instances if they could do it anonymously. And it really just goes to show that while Dennis said that he would prefer to do it anonymously, Jack said that he would do it in person because he would feel more comfortable doing that. And in regards to kids, do you believe that parents should monitor their kids' devices?
That's a good question. I feel like parents should monitor them as much as they can. I feel like it's a bit divided. Like, do you want your kids to be safe but restrict their privacy, or do you want their privacy all to themselves but have no control on if they get bullied or not?
Next, I interviewed Troy, who has been deeply affected by cyberbullying, and I wanted to learn more about his experience. During the interview, I was at a loss for words. I was really shocked at what people said to him and how he was treated. So it really shows that I wasn't quite sure what to say during the interview because his responses really had an impression on me.
Okay.
As a victim of cyberbullying, what sort of things did people say about you?
You crippled fuck, you shouldn't be on this planet.
And obviously those types of words would make you feel bad about yourself.
Yes.
depressed, suicidal, didn't want to leave my room,
How did it affect your life?
didn't trust anyone, shouted at everyone, weren't the same since.
Was the bullying you experienced online and offline?
Yes. Online and in person.
And
Stuff said online is worse than the people in person.
And was this anonymously?
Oh no, I knew who it was. Known since day one who it was. They still do it to this day.
Have you ever received anonymous cyberbullying?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Did you turn to anyone?
No. No, I didn't. Because I didn't trust anyone. Not even my own parents.
What apps was the bullying mostly through?
Mostly through Instagram. But I had a fair few on Xbox parties. From people that were so-called my mates.
Yeah. Was that through gaming?
Yes, through gaming. Telling me I should die because I can't play a game. Telling me I should get rid of stuff because I can't do it properly. Saying because I got a disability I shouldn't be able to play this game.
It's horrible. What do you think these social media apps could do to prevent cyberbullying?
Monitor chats, record chats, or record phone calls like on WhatsApp. Who knows what goes on those calls? They're one-way monitored.
True.
So people could get accused of calling someone a pig. But it never happens. That's happened to me recently. I got accused of saying I hate someone when I never actually said it. And people don't believe it because there's no proof, because apparently it was on a call.
Did the school ever find out?
Nope, didn't tell anyone. Because I knew if I did, they'll deny all their allegations. Deny what they said. Because they're like that.
And were you afraid that if you did turn to someone, they would overreact?
Oh, definitely. 100%.
Do you think parents should monitor their kids?
Within reason. Depends on the age of the kid. And it depends who's doing the bullying. If it's someone you know that would have a jokey kind of bully relationship, like I've got with my mates, or most of my mates, then no. But if it's like harsh, death threats, and all that kind of stuff, yeah, monitor it.
And you said that it's still happening to this day.
Yes,
So I'm guessing that's still the same people?
different people. The original people, I've just said, don't want anything to do with you anymore. If you've got something nice to say to me, say it. Then I'll talk to you.
You've blocked them, I'm guessing?
No, I'm just being civil with them. Because they say, oh, we've done nothing wrong. I'm just going to be civil with them. What's the point?
Due to technical difficulties, this next part you're about to watch only has a side angle. However, what's really important is what he's saying, and I really think that people should listen to him because it will ensure that they can keep themselves and others around them safe, and it will ensure that they don't go down that dark path alone.
Did you have any advice for those who are going through the same thing as you?
Well, let me tell you. Do not try and take it on yourself, because you will fail. You don't want to end up like me. Don't want to end up like me, having depression. Don't want to end up like me, struggling because you don't trust people. Go tell someone. Go tell someone you trust. If that's your mates, if that's your parents, a tutor, another member of staff, who gives a damn? Don't suffer alone, because it doesn't help. You get fucking worse each day. Trust me, don't do this alone. For my sake.
Have you ever helped anyone that has been cyberbullied?
Yes, I have.
What would you say the best action to take is in order to approach them to help them?
Try and be your normal self to start with. If that doesn't work, go down the slow and easy route. It's best to slowly wean it out of them than force them to tell you all of it at once. For example, I had a mate a few weeks ago. They were getting cyberbullied because, they're not skinny or whatever. So I literally said to them, what's up? And they replied, nothing. So I'm like, come on, tell me. Just slowly wean it out of them. Don't let them suffer. Don't get it out of them straight away. Because that's just going to make them feel worse.
I have a list of facts here, and I just want you to look at it and tell me anything that stands out to you.
Bloody hell, 83% are young adults. That's more than I expected. 40.6 only go to authorities. Those numbers need to go up. It needs to be more than 40%.
Yeah, going to authorities.
Because I don't want people to end up like me and just not going to anyone, not telling anyone. I did that because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to trust. Those numbers need to go up.
Yeah, sometimes we think we can handle it ourselves.
Yes, totally. I've been there.
Thank you very much.
Right then.
Thanks.
That's good. Thank you, Herman.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. No problem.
So what did we learn? We learned that many people still believe that cyberbullying is an issue, and the public is aware of this. They know the impacts it can have on people, and we also learned that victims of cyberbullying aren't very likely to open up about it or turn to anyone. So if you know someone, or if you are that someone, please ask for help. They won't judge you, they'll do their best to help you. You don't want to be going through this alone. You might think you can handle it alone, but if you turn to someone, it'll take that pressure off of you. You'll be able to cope with it. If you aren't comfortable opening up to family or friends, you can ask for help anonymously online. There are specific charities that are set out for this, one of them being Bullying UK. You can chat anonymously through their confidential helpline. You can chat to them online where they will make sure that they keep all of your information safe, and they will show you the respect that you need while listening to all the issues that you may be going through. You can get involved by supporting others, and by using their forum you can actually meet others like yourself who are going or have gone through similar issues. Cyberbullying. What do you think of it? I think our friend Shane here puts it best.
The cyberbullying and bullying is just a bad thing in general. It just all needs to stop.
Remember to stay safe, online and offline.